Another very, very tough one for the Pacers here in this building. I'm in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tony East here, covering the team for Forbes. And man, oh man, do the Pacers just have a consistency problem. Have a lot of problems, to be clear, but consistency, the name of the game of it to me. That's what I was asking people about after the game. Why do they feel like this team can't be consistent? Because they just lost 113-109 to the Charlotte Hornets. They lost the Hornets already this season. You might be thinking, whatever. Maybe they just stink against the Hornets, and they do. They've won 4 of their last 15 against Charlotte. But the Hornets did not have LaMelo Ball, did not have Miles Bridges, did not have Tijon Salon, did not have a couple other players. Mark Williams didn't play. Grant Williams was out, and they beat the Pacers in this building. The Pacers, when they defended well tonight, couldn't score. When they were scoring well tonight, they couldn't get stops. Their biggest lead was 2 that went away after one possession. The Hornets very frequently leading by more than that. Their biggest lead very early in this game was 9. Just a crummy game for the Pacers, who I think a lot of people have pointed out a lot of the things that look bad about this team. But to me, unfortunately, the worst way for a team to lose, some effort moments just kill them. Rebounding, 29 rebounds for the Pacers in this game, 45 for the Hornets. 7 offensive rebound difference, 5 team rebound difference. That's how you get such a wide gap, and that can be lots of things. The ball can bounce certain ways. Tonight, it was not that stuff. Rick Carlisle said they were trying harder on the glass, them being the Hornets in this situation, and they were. They were much better on the glass than the Pacers. That swings them several possessions in this game. It stacks up quickly, even though the shots taken battle was close to Hornets with 11 more free throw attempts, and they had 7 more turnovers. They just had more chances to score even with all those turnovers. It was brutal how much the Pacers cannot get that. 50-50 balls when they were on the floor went Charlotte's way all night. That stuff is just effort. That's not even basketball 101. It's not a practice this or that thing. It's just effort. The Pacers did not have it tonight. 2 days after a very good offensive game where they looked like themselves, they looked dreadful in this game against the Hornets in that way. And yeah, if you go micro, there are a lot of things you could say about the Pacers that were not very good in this basketball game. Obviously, rebounding is a macro sense, but if you really want to zoom in, I'm currently looking up to the right at a poster in this lobby that says India's back. It's a promotional poster for the Pacers' new uniforms this season. On that poster, there are 3 signature players: Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. Those 3 tonight combining for 28 points. If you want to use Ben Mathurin instead of Miles Turner, then that's 29 points instead. He had 11. All of them, all of the Pacers' best 4 talents, scoring, passing, offense, whatever you want to say, those guys do well, were way below the level they needed to be tonight. Pascal Siakam's 9 points came on 8 shots. He missed every 3 he took, 11 boards, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 4 fouls. Miles Turner, really rough early. I believe he missed his first 5 shots. Was more effective scoring the rest of the way. Hit 3 threes. That was pretty much everything for him. 10 points, 1 rebound, 4 turnovers, 4 fouls. They could not play with him as much as they wanted because of the fouls. They had to turn to Enrique Freeman. They had to turn to smaller groups with Jarris Walker or Obi Toppin at the 5. In some ways, those worked. In other ways, those didn't. Miles Turner did not have a good game and did not play enough to get out of that funk. Ben Mathurin, 4 for 11 for 11 points. Only 2 free throws. He missed 6 threes. He had no assists and 1 turnover. If you're getting a sense here, all these guys had more turnovers than assists. And Tyrese Haliburton, supposed to be their star, he figured out the assist thing. He had 8 of them and only 2 turnovers. He had 3 blocks, but was 4 for 10, missed all his threes, 2 rebounds, 9 points on 10 shots. That is impossible to overcome. You know, I know it's impossible to overcome because the bench was awesome. Andrew Nembhard was pretty good. He played 4 quarters for the first time since his injury, 31 minutes. He was 3 for 5. He was moving the ball. He had some turnovers. He's had some very ugly ones since returning. I'm not saying he played great or anything like that, but he was much better than the rest of the guys in terms of the level you expect. And the Pacers bench was awesome. Obi Toppin missed a few that he would like to have back, but he had 11 points. He had 10 at halftime. You know, when he was out there, the energy, the pace was up. TJ McConnell had the best game of his career with 30 points, 6 assists, no turnovers, 2 steals. He was unbelievable. Outside of missing 3 threes, he literally did not hardly do anything wrong in this game. Maybe the best I've ever seen TJ McConnell play. He was unstoppable. He closed the game to try to give the Pacers a lift. His energy usually contagious. It wasn't tonight for a team that had no effort. Jarris Walker, great again. 15 points on his 7 shots. He only missed once. It was a 3. He also had the turnover problems in this game, but 3 rebounds. They won his minutes by 2. Johnny Furphy did his thing. They won his minutes. They got great bench minutes today. In fact, if you add up the total of their bench points, you get 60. That's excellent. And they still lost. That's how bad their core players were in this game. They couldn't win with 60 bench points against this limited Hornets team. And this is who the Pacers are right now. There's a lot you can say about their challenges this year. Their current record is 10-15. Let's just do some math. That's 25 games. If you triple it, that's 75, almost the full season, 7 games short. That would be 30 wins. That's the worst spot to be as an NBA team, is in the mid-30s. Just outside the postseason, not good enough to get a top pick. And they don't need to pick a direction yet. I'm sure they would like to see things turn around, and they could point to a million reasons why they haven't. They could say injuries. They could say their star player not playing well but kind of turning a corner. They could point at lots of reasons for their inconsistencies. Whatever they want to do, I get it. Their identity hasn't been there, though. And the results have not been there. And at some point after a game like tonight or the two they had last week against Brooklyn and Toronto, they had to figure out why this is happening. And I'm sure if they could, they would, and they would change things. That's why I had trouble asking the question I wanted to ask after the game, which is, why do the Pacers think they've been so inconsistent? If they knew the answer, they'd fix it. Justin Holiday used to say that when I'd ask him about team struggles all the time. And I think that's a totally valid answer. But I want to know what they think the answer is, if they even have a guess. Because that's what's been so bizarre about this to me this year. They have nights like 2 nights ago in Chicago where they put up 132 with ease. Their offense is moving the way they want. They focus on all these offensive principles before the game, and they light up a bad team. 2 days before that, they played in Brooklyn and did not do any of that stuff. They scored 90 points. Today, they had some stretches of nice offense, but mostly were very poor on that end of the floor. Even though they shot 51%, they'll be happy with that. They got a third of their threes to drop. They should be happy with that. It felt like they got good paint pressure, but they only had 44 points in the paint. They were still moving the ball well from inside the paint to out. That's how they want to play. But it didn't lead to enough. It didn't lead to the clicking, the connectivity. A lot of passes that were just to someone else standing. A lot of station-to-station stuff. Some games it's been humming and clicking and everybody's moving, and other games look like this where it's such a grind for them to generate points. Even if it's a higher tempo game or a medium tempo game, it just doesn't all hum. It's not all in transition the way they want, and they can't get it going. And then when they do, it's with a group or just by chance that they can't get stops at the same time. And they can't contain Vasilije Micic, who was awesome with 18 and 9 assists for Charlotte. Brandon Miller was great. I expect big wings to be great against the Pacers. Nick Richards had 14 boards. Other guys were making threes. Ex-Pacer Isaiah Wong, the two-way player, 55th pick last year's draft, 9 points, 4 assists off the bench. That's the kind of guy that you should be able to contain a little better as the Pacers, but they couldn't do it. So every single little thing you want to point to about this game points to what the Pacers' reality is right now. It's hard to say for a team that was so good last year. 47 wins, turned some corners, had some incredible wins against good teams. Boston twice, OKC twice, Dallas twice. The in-season tournament run. They beat the Bucks 4 times in the regular season last year. You could go on and on with all the good teams they were able to take down. And this year, they're 10-15. No conference finals looks like a thing for them. Obviously, out of the NBA Cup, they're just maybe bad. And I don't know how they fix it, but they need to. They need to figure it out. And they are lucky that they have 3 chances, maybe even 4, to practice this week, to dive into film, to try to figure this out. Big gap. They don't play till Friday. They have to take advantage of this and come out of this humming because their schedule demands it. We'll break it all down here on this channel with more coming up. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next time, which is on Friday.